When something seems too good to be true, it often is, isn't it? We see a lot of this on the internet. That $50 iPhone, that beautiful stranger who wants to find true love with you, or that Nigerian prince who wants to give you $1 million. We are rightly skeptical, rightly doubtful about such things because they're usually not true, are they? Well, it must have seemed too good to be true for those first disciples 2,000 years ago who were heartbroken at the death of Jesus when they suddenly found him alive again. And it was hard enough for those who saw him face to face, the disciples on the road to Emmaus, Mary Magdalene and the original apostles, when they got to see Jesus. It was hard enough for them to accept that Jesus had indeed risen again, let alone poor old Thomas, who was out of the room when Jesus came back. And so we often call Thomas Doubting Thomas, but I think we have to cut him some slack and call him instead maybe reasonably skeptical Thomas for good reasons. But we can learn from Thomas, I think, because many of us struggle with our faith from time to time. You know, when we are talking about God, when we're talking about the things of eternity and of the spiritual life, we're dealing with things which are unprovable by science. And so they are things which often we may have doubts that are hard to resolve. We may have questions we are pondering, and that's okay. St. Thomas can show us a way to deal with our doubts in a really productive way. And so we can look at Thomas's experience in the gospel. Thomas was quite reasonable, I think, to say, I'm not sure I believe you. I'm not going to believe unless I can see Jesus for myself. It was seeing Jesus that convinced the other disciples. The empty tomb on its own was not enough to say that Jesus had risen. It was the empty tomb combined with seeing Jesus alive again. So Thomas wanted to see this for himself. So perhaps you are the one who is doubting, questioning at this time. I want to say, give yourself permission to ask questions and give others in your life permission as well to doubt and to wonder and to ponder the things of our faith. Because what we can learn from Thomas, though, is to try to do that within the context of our faith community. When you are doubting, when you are questioning, try to hang in there in church. Now, it would have been very easy for Thomas to say, well, look, to the disciples, look, you guys are crazy. I'm out of here. You're believing things that I don't think are real anymore. I'm not coming back. But we hear that rather than do that, 8 days later, Thomas was with the other disciples when Jesus showed himself again. Had Thomas have walked out, he would not have been in the right place at the right time to experience Jesus in the way that he needed to convince him that Jesus had indeed risen. And so if you are someone who struggles with faith, I invite you, keep coming to church or youth group or Bible study or prayer group, whatever it might be that helps sustain you. Stay in there so that when the time comes that Jesus has a way to reveal himself to you, you'll be there ready waiting for him. And if you are in a time of doubt, let the faith of the community kind of carry you along. If you find that when you stand to recite the creed, you think, I'm not sure I believe all these things, let the faith of those who do believe strongly kind of buoy you up and carry you along. If you find yourself going to communion thinking, I just find this hard to believe today, again, let the faith of those who strongly believe propel you forward. Come and share in communion, because when you come and receive Jesus in the Eucharist, you have the experience of him speaking to you interiorly, which might allow you to believe again. If you cut yourself off from that, then you might miss the opportunity you need that will actually bring you back to strong faith. And for Thomas, I guess it's like Thomas was able to dare to doubt the things he already knew and believed that allowed him to actually grow in faith. You know, for ourselves, I think if we cling to, it's like the rungs of a ladder, if we cling to the rung of everything that we already know and believe, that we can't let go to climb to the next rung, and we stay on the ground. But Thomas was able to actually grow in his faith quite remarkably, because we hear that when Jesus showed himself, he then announced, my Lord and my God. And that's actually the highest affirmation of faith that anybody makes in all four Gospels. People call Jesus Lord and Master and Saviour, Messiah and Christ and Son of God, but nobody else calls him God, implying that he is equal to God the Father. Only Thomas, who dared to doubt. So I invite you, dare to doubt. Dare to ask questions, but do it in the context of the believing community who can support you on your journey so that you too can climb that ladder of faith to come to that higher, stronger, deeper faith that Thomas did and that Jesus wants you to have in him too.